And I know that when I was doing Walter White, at the end of a day, and in film, you're usually working 13, 14 hours a day. And I would go back into the hair and makeup trailer, and I would get hot, moist towels, and I would wrap one around my head like a turban, and I would wrap one around my face and neck like I was getting a professional shave. And I would just sit in the chair and allow the moist heat to just pull out the toxicity of the day, both literal and figurative. The actual grime and dirt, makeup and all that, and also just the emotional toxicity that Walter White went through. And I just wipe it all, take off his clothes, and touchstone into something real. So the first thing I would do was call my wife after I changed my clothes and got all that done, is touch base with something that is real, and here we are. Tell me about what happened today in your life, and reconnect that way. And then the show wouldn't get Walter White back until the next morning when I got to work.
Yeah. But you've just mentioned it there, and I think as well an important thing to discuss or to talk about is when you make these big commitments and you're having to be away, surely that also wreaks havoc on kind of familial relationships, and you do have to make something of a sacrifice to do and take on a project like that.
It's very true, Kellyanne. I mean, that's one of the considerations. I am so grateful for the opportunities that have come into my life for work, and something that I still, after 43 years, still love to do. However, there is that familial consideration. Historically, actors have been vagabonds. If you look in the history of actors, they've always traveled from town to town, put their hat out, present a play or play a musical instrument, and get a couple shillings tossed into the hat, and then the constable runs you out of town. And it's like, oh, okay, so we're always travelers. We're always people who have to pack our bags and go to some other city in order to make a living. And that's still happening today. It's still the case. Rarely do I work back in Los Angeles or New York and the places that I live. So you have to be prepared for that. And I always consult my wife on this, because it's going to affect her. Whatever job I take is going to affect her. And I want her to feel like the project as well is valuable and worth that strain. And, then you just have to be really good at scheduling and saying, when can she come out and stay with me? When can I go back? And that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, we heard it here first. For any listeners whose boyfriends aren't making enough effort, if Bryan Cranston is consulting his wife, he can too.